Hello, I'm Emma from English. So tell me, do you know how to pronounce these words? Really? How do you know? These words are nouns, but they're also verbs, and they're pronounced differently depending on the type of word that they are. So right now, it's impossible to know how to pronounce these words correctly. The great news is that there are some simple rules that will help you to pronounce these words correctly when you do use them. Yeah, simple English rules. Yes! And I'll go over them with lots of examples during this lesson today. But first, let me explain why word stress is important in spoken English. English is a stressed language. Words are stressed when spoken because they're important. So when we speak those words more clearly. They're the important words. They must be heard for the sentence to be understood. But if the word has more than one syllable, there will be one syllable that is pronounced more clearly than the others, at least one. Syllables are stressed differently, and it's actually a really important part of speech, so it's something you need to know. Not only does word stress give English its rhythm, but it also helps native speakers to identify words. If you use the wrong word stress in English, you could be pronouncing a completely different word than the one you mean to. And that can be pretty confusing for someone listening to you. And when you're listening to a native English speaker, recognizing what words are stressed will help you to understand the meaning more easily too. So if you've been telling yourself that word stress doesn't matter, think again. As I said, there are some simple rules that I'll teach you in this lesson today to help you to correctly and confidently stress words in English. So let's get our words back on screen. So you'll notice that all of these words have two syllables. Now, as a general rule, most two-syllable English nouns are stressed on the first syllable. It's a general rule, but it's true most of the time. By the way, that's also true for adjectives. Most two-syllable adjectives are stressed on the first syllable too. And most two-syllable verbs are stressed on the second syllable. There are exceptions, but this is true most of the time. And that, my friends, is a really useful pronunciation tip. Nouns, verbs. Nouns, verbs. Easy. Let's look a little more closely at the first word. As a noun, the stress is on the first syllable. As a verb, the stress is on the second syllable. So listen. Decrease, decrease. Can you hear the difference there? Decrease, decrease. Say it with me. See if you can pronounce the difference. Decrease, decrease. Now, specifically, word stress affects the vowels in English. It's the vowel sounds that are different when you are stressing and unstressing syllables. Stressed syllables have a stronger vowel sound, while unstressed syllables reduce down. And you'll notice this through all of the examples that I teach in this lesson. So while you master the pronunciation of stressed syllables today, you'll also practice vowel reductions for all of the unstressed syllables too. As the value of the stock decreased, we noticed a decrease in revenue. The same stress pattern is used for increase as well. Increase and increase. One really great way to practice the correct pronunciation of English words is by listening to audiobooks while you're reading the actual physical book. You'll learn lots of new words in context and hear the correct pronunciation too. You've heard me talk about Audible before because I love listening to books. I can do it anywhere, while I'm running, while I'm driving, I'm on the train, or I'm doing really mundane tasks like grocery shopping. And listening to your favorite English books is such a great way to improve your listening and your speaking skills. So sign up to Audible using the link in the description below and you'll get your first audiobook absolutely free. I've recommended a few books in the description as well, so make sure you check them out and let me know what you think. Next example, present, present. The vowel sound is strong in the stressed syllable, remember? And then the vowel sound in the unstressed syllable reduces. Present, present. We forgot to bring our birthday present. We will present the findings to the professor tomorrow. Object, object. Object, object. There was a strange glowing object above the stage. If you object to our decisions, you need to suggest alternatives. Reject and reject. Reject, reject. Our football players are all rejects from other teams. My boss will probably reject our suggestion to have our monthly meeting at the pub. Probably, but it's worth a shot. Contract and contract. Contract, contract. They signed the contract yesterday. The villagers may contract the virus by drinking water from the river. Conflict, 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 conflict. Do you have any idea what's causing the conflict? The neighbour's story conflicts with the story that Paul gave us. Produce and produce. Produce and produce. There's lots of fresh produce available at the market. Can you produce any evidence that proves you're innocent? Project. Now, some native English speakers pronounce the stressed vowel there slightly differently, but it's always stressed. Project and project. Project, project. Do you know if they've received government funding for that project? During the celebrations, the community projected historical photos on the church building. Record and record. Record and record. Do you keep a record of the number of tourists that visit this place each year? You need to visit the police station so that they can record your details. Refuse and refuse. Refuse and refuse. Peter runs a business that collects refuse from local cafes and businesses. Refuse is a more formal way of saying rubbish or garbage. The protesters are refusing to exit the building. Okay, we've been through plenty of examples here, but there are many more examples of these types of words, where the noun and the verb are spelled exactly the same, but pronounced differently. Can you think of any others? Gosh, I'm thinking of so many already, like desert and dessert. If you can think of any others, then please add them into the comments under this video. Try to write a sentence with these words. If you do that, and everyone else does that, we'll end up with hundreds of sentences to practice with together. So write your sentence and then practice saying it out loud. You have to practice out loud because stress is only important in spoken English. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. If you did, make sure you tell me, give it a like, and subscribe to my channel. Come and join me and my English learners. We practice here together every week. Keep practicing your spoken English in either of these two videos here, and I'll see you in the next lesson.